Cheerio. Thank you for clicking on my video. I did have someone who just found us say, cheerio is a goodbye. And I'm like, go through my old videos. You'll find out we did the research. It goes both ways. Anyway, so I'm on my little mail truck today, and the YouTube feed's just rolling. And I look filthy. I apologize. And I found this great channel. He's called The Lawyer You Know. And I guess I'd watched him, but never about Sarah Boone. And so I started listening. And I've been working on a letter to Sarah. Today is Friday, January 13th. Her trial is scheduled to start Monday, January 30th. So that's 2 weeks from Monday. 2 weeks. Her trial. I heard she was offered a 10-year deal. I don't know where I heard that, and I've tried to do research to confirm it. I can't, but I'm not sure that that's something that would be confirmed. But I want to read you. A lot of the legal stuff is way too complicated for my silly little mailman brain. But this is the exact statute for Florida for second-degree murder, which she was charged with. If you watch the interrogation, they just say, Sarah, stand up, turn around. They never tell her what she's being arrested for. Weird. Okay. Florida statutes outline second-degree murder as the unlawful killing of a human being when perpetrated by any act imminently dangerous to another and evincing a depraved mind, regardless of human life, although without any premeditated design to the effect, although without any premeditated design to effect the death of any particular individual. To me, I don't really have to dumb that down. She's guilty. I mean, she is guilty. The poor man begs and begs. I'm not going to put the suitcase video in here because it makes you sick to your stomach. I mean, it really can. It can be terribly, terribly disturbing. But as I watch her, I happened to start writing down some of her quotes because I was shocked at the different things she tells the police. You realize at the beginning of the interrogation, she spends all the time telling the police that she is wonderful. The only reason George is alive and surviving right now is because of how awesome she is. Don't forget, she's always been a straight A student. She's an outstanding mother to her child. That one really cracks me up. I don't know why, that one gets me. But then they show her the videotape. And at that point, everything changes. Now she wants to explain that George is actually just really a piece of shit. And in the beginning of the video, she wasn't drunk. After that, then her defense becomes, well, I was drunk. So which is it? Okay, so here's some of the quotes that really kind of stuck home to me. In the police car that very first day. Okay, do I have to tell you again, don't speak to police without an attorney, especially if you're innocent. It is, I believe, more so if you're innocent. If you're guilty and you think that you are sociopathic enough to get those to convince the police, then go for it. But always have an attorney. Okay, so in the car the first day, she says, I don't want to interrupt myself again. I think it's really cool the way, I wasn't impressed with the interrogation, but I think it's cool the way Chelsea reads her rights and makes it seem like it's no big deal. We're just got to read you the rights. I think she says, because that's how it is. Okay, first day. I went to hide in the shower and he never came to find me, and that made me mad. And these are exact quotes. I mean, I sat down with a pen and paper as she was saying it, hit pause, and wrote it. Okay, so that sentence right there, what does that give her? Motive. And the statute doesn't say the prosecution has to give motive, but she's providing motive right there. Same first day. You remember the very pretty black police officer, the first one, Deputy Hernandez or Rodriguez, I'm not sure. She told that police officer twice I thought I would give him 5 minutes to squirm. Exact quote. I thought I would give him 5 minutes in the suitcase to squirm. She also told Scott and Chelsea the next day that, okay, well, you're just proving more of the law that you have committed. What are you doing? When the police start showing her the videotape, does anyone else ever notice, A, she doesn't show any emotion. She hasn't showed any emotion the first day. I mean, she does try to and get dramatic with the pretty black cop. But then she can swap right back into something else. I need a cigarette and a Dr. Pepper. But police start showing her the tape. And remember, the battery dies because these two cops suck. I mean, the dude cop has his gun on him. Right there. There's a couple times Sarah could reach and grab it. I can't stand that they're both on their phones. Are you in an interrogation or are you doing something else? Nothing can't wait. Goodness. But, so now she's waiting for Chelsea to bring the plug back. And she goes like this. She starts stroking her temples. You guys are killing me, making me watch this. It's really a shame that Scott didn't say, no pun intended, right? We don't have a suitcase right here, so we're not going to play that same game. At the beginning of the interrogation, Chelsea starts talking about the injuries that George has, and the drunkard says, I never laid a hand on him. Put both her hands up. She's very dramatic with her body language. Chelsea didn't ask you if you laid your hands on him. She was bringing up the injuries. Okay, but this is what Sarah says. And this statement does not come at the beginning. It comes much later in the interrogation. But she says, that's the unfortunate thing. No one else was there. Okay. So once again, you have admitted to police that you did this. Remember, she gave up everything. She handed her phone right over. Oh yeah, take anything you want. Chelsea tells her that George has, we've talked about this, the naughty scratch marks and the nasty scratch marks, there's differences. That George has nasty scratch marks going across his back, parallel. And I mean, those aren't from sex. But Chelsea says, can we take swabs of your fingers? And what does dumb Sarah do? Yeah, okay, go ahead, sure. So maybe you can find his skin underneath my fingernails and more proof that I murdered him. Goodness. Okay, first day. The police have been there in probably 2 hours at this point. And she actually goes to one of the deputies and says, I need to talk to the detectives. I'm sorry, I'm quite gassy all of a sudden. The cop goes and gets the detectives. And she's standing there, rubbing her hands together, She says, I'm scared for my life. George's family has always said I would kill him. Okay. If your boyfriend's family always believed you would kill him, then I don't think I would tell the police that. Nope. The police interrogated one of George's brothers. He had a few of them. He had one brother that he had such a physical altercation with that it fractured his eye socket or his orbital bone up here. But this was a different brother. Well, that brother happened to speak to George that Sunday evening. The phone call came in, I think it said 7:30. It was 3 minutes long. Well, the brother admits, he says, a lot of times I don't answer because he's so drunk and I just don't want to deal with him. But he did answer that night. And he could tell right away that George wasn't as wasted as usual. So he ended up putting George on speakerphone. The family happened to be playing dominoes so that George could speak to his nieces and nephews. And I'm not exactly sure if it were boys or girls. I know it was more than one child. And the sister-in-law and the brother. Oh, it was such a nice conversation. And about 2 minutes in, the brother hears Sarah come in the room, it's on speakerphone, and George is on his phone, and starts screaming at George that she needs her phone back because she has to call her brother, and she needs to call him right now. And they end up staying on the phone another 40 seconds while she's screaming at him. And the brother says George wasn't wasted like he usually is. I mean, that's the thing, is the brother doesn't deny that George has a problem. This chick's a psycho. The brother told police that one time George was on his bicycle, and Sarah tried to hit him with her car. Well, she did hit him with her car, but she drives a Kia, so probably didn't do much damage, eh? Okay, back to my quotes. This is a good one. His ex-wife B is a monster. She refuses him access to their children because he doesn't pay support. Okay, what's the problem? I don't think Brian should have allowed her access to Lucas. I'm sorry, I just really don't. The property manager had to go and tell Sarah, you can only allow your son to ride his bicycle in this front lot of your house, because when he rides all over the complex, you're not paying attention to him, and I'm worried he's going to get hit. She was a lousy mother. And think about this. Brian was having to pay her alimony and child support. Now, I do know he had a court motion happening to fix that, to lower the payment. But I don't, you know what, I need to look it up. I don't have a pencil on me to look in the family court, but I don't think that family court stuff is public because it involves juveniles. But, so his ex-wife B is a monster because of that. But Sarah's not a monster. She wouldn't unzip that suitcase, but that doesn't qualify as being a monster. Brian was doing the wrong thing. B, the ex-wife, was doing the correct thing. Now, I think that B is some sort of term of endearment or something, because there's other times that George refers to Sarah as B. So I'm not really sure. Is that the... Yeah, if I'm just a boomer and I don't know, then tell me. I thought it was Bae, like B-A-E. Who knows? Okay. This one is equally as good as the last one. It actually may be a little bit better. And I want to make sure I get the words exactly correct. I have to laugh before I even read it. I know George better than he knows himself. She said that. What kind of person says that about anyone? I mean, are you serious? For real? My goodness. So she called Brian before she called 911. Well, I did look it up, and I spent 10 or 15 minutes doing some research about this. 97% of the time, the murderer calls someone other than police before they contact authorities looking for help. 97% of the time. Why would she call Brian anyway? Well, Brian enabled her. Apparently her bank account had just been gone in the negative the week before, and he wrote her a check for $35 to get her a bank account normal. It was probably that $35 fee. Because, we all know it costs the bank $35 if we mess up our bank account one time. Ripping us off. Goodness. So, she calls Brian. Brian gets there. Apparently, he walked into the townhouse. He stayed in that little, I guess there's a little linoleum foyer. He sees George's legs, and he says he just backed right out. And he's told her, you need to call police. Sarah said, and this is a Brian quote, that Sarah said, I have to have a smoke and a drink first. And so that's what Brian said. So this is hearsay. Could never, ever be used in court. Because you know that they'll be pulling up my videos in court going, oh, Meredith said that. Meredith said that. So Brian got there, and she had a drink and a smoke before she called police. We know she had a drink. She told the pretty black cop, my Dr. Pepper's on the counter. I have said this in previous videos. Apparently her cigarettes and lighter are on the back porch. which weren't fenced in, so I would have tried to sneak myself around there and get them. But I'd have looked right at Brian and said, could you please drive across the street to the Pilot and get me a smoke in the lighter? And Brian enabled her. You know he would have done it. Okay. When she was explaining, I should have put this in the earlier part. When she was explaining to the police that she was angry that George didn't come find her in the shower, she said, so then we find the suitcase. And he started to get into it. And she says this, oh yeah, I'm going to zip you up. Oh yeah, you didn't come look for me. There's just more motive. You know that black dude who, I get, he's probably on TikTok, which I don't watch TikTok. I hope you don't. If you have TikTok on your device, you have allowed the Chinese government access to your banking. I mean, everything. Go on. Joe Rogan did a thing about the terms of service. TikTok is dangerous. But what was my whole point about? I'm going to zip you up. Oh, yeah, you didn't come look for me. I lost that one. It'll come back. I'm sorry, because it was a cute point. Okay. Hopefully it comes back. So, let me get to her quote, because my comment is here first. Oh, I only just talk about it. She said, I unzipped it with one finger. It's impossible to unzip anything with one finger. Next time you're zipping something, try. But look, I have a jacket right here. I'll zip it up, and let's see if we are able to unzip it with one finger. Well, part of the reason the zipper takes two. Let's see if I can even just move it with one finger. Oh, I guess I can. I am. It's a little difficult. But remember also, I'm stuffed inside of a little box trying to do this. But let's zip it up. I went and played golf recently, and my golf pants have they zip up on the side, and I tried to undo it with one hand, and I couldn't. Okay, so this is my mailman jacket. Here it is, zipped. Impossible. And this is a good zipper. This is a very quality jacket. Great grammar. This is an excellent quality jacket. So look, this is good zipper. Saw how easily that is? Let's try it one more time. It is absolutely impossible. And you know the prosecutor is going to bring that up. Oh, my goodness. I've already said that. She said 3 different times. I thought I'd give him 5 minutes to squirm. Oh, I know what happened. My printer messed up and my pages dropped on the floor. And I messed them up and I didn't go through. Okay. Many of these things I've probably said before. But I fully believe George got in the suitcase upstairs and she pushed him down the stairs. I've explained why. You don't bring your donations downstairs. You bring the bag to the donations. If you listen to the video, remember she's slurring her words so desperately, it's difficult to understand her. But he's not. He's begging for his life, but he's not. Clara, please, I can't breathe. He seems pretty rational. The brother said he was rational. Here's something. Sarah tells the first cop right away, we had 1 bottle of wine. You know what? If you get pulled over for DWI, you tell the cop, I had 2 beers. Same thing. But later she does say the bottles are in the trash. Well, it turns out there were 2 receipts from the Piggly Wiggly. Oh no. The Publix, from that day with the wood something wine, some crappy $9 bottle of wine. Although there's great $9 bottles of wine. Don't misunderstand me. But I'm pretty sure that's how she threw him down the stairs. And to me, that makes sense how his arm was dislocated. His shoulder was dislocated. And she wasn't a huge girl either. Well, she was in the past, but she wasn't then. I don't even think she's kicking him in there because of the structure of the suitcase. She could do that damage. But I do believe if he fell down the stairs and bounced a couple times, that could 100% dislocate his shoulder. 100%. Oh. So most of these are all really good. But this one almost deserves a gold medal. You ready? I'll tell you both one thing. I'll never drink again in any way, shape, or form. Okay, well, I don't really understand the way, shape, or form. Maybe she's talking about Jell-O shooters. She's letting you know, I'm not only going to stop drinking wine, I'm going to stop drinking Jell-O shooters also. Because what way, shape, or form to drink? I don't know if this is in my list, but this is a good one also. She says, now this may not be an exact quote, and I'm really shocked I didn't write it down, but she says, I believe, and she's rubbing her head as she's saying it, well, I believe that finding his body was punishment enough. Yeah, I think that George's family probably 100% agrees with that. Okay, then she says, I thought he was the boy that cried wolf. Okay, well, that doesn't really make sense. Do you know the story of the boy who cried wolf? He would run to town and say, the wolf are attacking our flock. And the people from the town would run down to check the flock, and the flock were all safe. And he did this 2 or 3 times. And he was just joking, Well, the 4th time, the wolves really were attacking the flock. And he went, and the town didn't believe him. And the town lost their entire flock because of this. Okay, well, under that scenario, Sarah, the boy who cried wolf, you've locked him up in a suitcase in the past. And he told you he couldn't breathe, but he actually was fine. So that's how dumb this woman is. Don't speak to an attorney, or don't speak to police without an attorney. Okay. These are 2 quotes. Everyone knows what I've done for George. And then about 34 minutes later, she says, no one understands our relationship. Okay, so which is it? Everyone understands what you've done for George, or no one understands your relationship? I mean, serious. If you have to explain your relationship to people, you probably should get out. Anyone else notice? Let me know below. She rarely says his name. It's the whom I love. And when she goes, love, love, love. Love, love, love him. But she rarely says his name. Our boy Chris Watts, exact same thing. Oh, here's my finding his body was punishment enough. Yes, she did say this. Okay. Exact quote again. The closet needs to be cleaned out. My son has clothes up there that he doesn't fit into, and I'm sick of looking at them. Hey, Sarah, you don't have a job. You haven't had a job, as far as I can tell, as long as Lucas has been alive, and he's 9. Why are you sick of looking at them? Why didn't you just clean them out? It's a 15-minute job. You have nothing better to do. I mean, for real? Goodness. How about when Scott says, we had many of your neighbors tell us that you were drunk on a daily basis. And she's like, talk to the property manager. Did you ask Minnie next door? Well, they did. And all the property manager did was 100% confirm what Scott said. Hey, hang on, I'll see you in just a second. Thank you, I had to go potty. So she tells police, remember, she told police, this is a quote, I'm an outstanding mother to my son. Over the past 28 days, she had had custody of Lucas 3 evenings. 3, 28, that's not to me an outstanding mother to her son. But she tells Chelsea that, Brian had started calling her that morning many, many times. And Chelsea says, well, were you asleep or were you ignoring them? And she says, I was ignoring them. Brian is notorious for blowing up my phone. Now, that's a direct quote. And then she does actually say, but I understand because he needs to figure out his plans for the day regarding Lucas. Now, the end of that is not a direct quote. I don't think she knows the word regarding. She does know the word non-compos mentis, though, and fractious. His music makes her fractious. But Brian has a job. I mean, I think he works from home by his attire, and he was able to put the puppy in a crate and come right over. But Brian has to wake up every day. You know, their custody is Monday, Tuesday, dad, Wednesday, Thursday, mom, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, dad. And then they swap it the other way the following week. So they each have every other weekend. He can't even plan his life because he has no idea if his drunk ex-wife is going to be there to show up. Did I already say this? She tells the police that they only drink on the weekends. Okay, is Sunday night a weekend? No, you start your day Monday. You know, I go to church on Sunday. Monday I start my day. Monday I go back to work. So I don't consider Sunday night a weekend. But she does tell police that Brian has to do this because she's had all these job interviews lately. Can't find any record of any job interview for her. But there's a Publix across the street. You know they're hiring. Go work at Publix. My goodness, go do something. You remember the videotape? I mean, it honestly, physically can make my stomach churn. But, you know, he's like, Sarah, let me out. And she says, that's my name. Don't wear it out. You know that's going to be played in court. So in the car, the first day, this is a direct quote again. I came downstairs, and then I came to and remembered he was in the suitcase. And then she does this little shriek, which I won't do because I don't want to hurt your ears. I apologize for that the other night. But she goes, ugh. But then no emotion after that. Just goes right to the next question. Doesn't even care. Here's a good one. Why is he purple? Did you not take biology class in high school? You outstanding student or outstanding mother, straight A student. Did you not take biology? I mean, I'm dummy. I am a dummy. I knew nothing about science and medicine, but I do know that lividity, when somebody dies, all the blood goes to one side. So, why is he purple? She asked that question just shortly after telling them that George's family was going to kill her. Okay. Quote, gosh, that was maybe the third time we played hide and seek because we were puzzled out, so why not? Honestly, I don't know when we started playing hide and seek, but I'm here with him and I don't need to know what time it is. That's her exact words. Have you ever heard of anybody playing hide and seek and the seeker helping the hider hide? I've never heard of that. Okay. Quote, because we both thought it was funny. Oh yeah, I'm going to zip you up cause, she says cause, not because. So let me start it over. Remember, these are her words, not mine. Because we both thought it was funny. Oh yeah, I'm gonna zip you up cause you didn't come look for me again. So it's a broken suitcase, but... And Chelsea interrupts and says, what do you mean by broken? And Sarah continues, it's only got one of these, but because I didn't zip it up all the way... And then Chelsea interrupts again and she says, like the pull part? And Sarah says, I think it's got a, what do you call it, a paper clip? Or you can just stick your fingers in there and unzip it yourself. Okay, well, didn't we just try on a video? It's impossible. But the next time you zip something up, try to just undo the zipper. Just pushing it down. It won't work. Okay, I will shut this down. I don't know if empathy is the right word. I'm overwhelmed at this girl's narcissism. How is she not realizing this isn't going to work? You zipped this man up. That you didn't only zip him up and leave him to suffocate, you flipped him around a couple times. The suitcase is in 3 different positions. Think about that. She's going to have to be in court, and they're going to show that videotape, and everyone is going to see how filthy her carpet is. Now, it's not really her fault because she's a renter. But I believe in Virginia, you get new carpet every 3 years. If you're still watching right now, I'm humbled. God bless you. I'm shocked, too. Hook me up. Hit that thumbs up. Hit subscribe. Do all those things. If you have social media, share my video if any of your friends are interested in Sarah Boone, because I'm not on any social media. Okay. God bless America. God bless you. Thank you so much.